Hello everyone, it's Baron9642 here, and today I'm going to do a bit of an explanation video of why I wrote Bittersweet Apple Acres, the darkfic. Okay, so some people have read this and it has 7 likes, 19 dislikes. Well, that's because some people don't bother to read the description. It clearly states, warning, contains very graphic content. This includes heavy sexual content. If you have a very weak stomach, don't read. Read at your own risk. Some people are so dumb sometimes I don't even know why there's a description. I really don't. Okay, back to the video. Okay, so Bittersweet Apple Acres. What it's about is basically the Apple family is a bunch of serial killers that torture their victims beyond until they wish they were dead, and put them through a grinder so they can filter blood into an applesauce that they create. So the applesauce is composed of apples from the apple orchard and pony blood. Okay, where I got this idea from? Well, it came from season 5 finale. The part where Applejack's where Sweet Apple Acres is actually in an industrial place. That part really sparked the idea, because I figured, what happens behind those walls. So, I know that Hasbro would not include anything dark in their content. Well, not after seeing, Lesson Zero and, good lord. Oh yeah, Party for One. Party for One is what inspired Cupcakes, because Pink and Meat, that's where Pink and Meat originated from. And Lesson Zero, well, I've heard that there was a fanfic written, Creepypasta, Twilight's Experiments, which is just basically a Twilight version of Cupcakes, which I have seen and listened to Cupcakes, and yeah, not a fan. Now, why I wrote Bittersweet Apple Acres? It's not because I'm a psychomaniac with a twisted mind. It's because I wanted to test the limits of my horror factor. Here is a better explanation. In let's see, in either 8th or not 8th, in 11th and 12th grade, I was given a teacher. I want to mention her name for reasons, and she gave me I had to do a biography on one of my favorite, I guess famous people. It was for like the newspaper for the school. So I did an article on Stephen King, because he's my favorite horror author, next to R.L. Stine, of course, because Goosebumps. Okay, so I did that on him, and my English teacher read and called me to her desk. I figured I was in trouble, so I came to her desk and she said that was one of the best things that she's ever read. And I have written horror in the past for English class, of course, and many teachers are like, whoa, this kid's descriptive. And I am very descriptive, as you've probably read if you've read Bittersweet Apple Acres. If you're a fan of dark fics, go ahead. But I will warn you, it is very, very, very graphic. And there is a part that will make you go, holy crap. And even I thought I went a little too far, but I don't know. We'll see where it goes. Okay, so I got the nickname Stephen King Jr., so I figured, and I've been told by my parents, that I should go into being like a horror author. So I came back to the idea of Applejack's farm being a slaughterhouse. I had this idea, but didn't ever plan on actually, writing it as a fan fiction. Partly because, I'm just lazy and I'm busy with other projects such as A Pony's Tale and turning the Untold Stories of Equestria series on my film fiction account into audiobooks, and many more things. So here's the first thing that went into making it. I had to make it into a creepypasta because I wanted to actually compete with the top creepypasta ever, Cupcakes. So I had to go all out. So I don't know if Creepypasta will even allow this, to be honest. So because I plan on submitting it to Creepypasta, but I don't know if they will allow it because there's an actual scene in there that is so over the limit. I won't go into detail because it's pretty over the wall. That's why I warn people. This is a very graphic thing, and it's mature, as you can see. So, 21 plus, and if you can't handle creepypastas, then what are you doing here? Alright, so the next thing that came in was the plot. So, of course, the main plot is basically the Apple family killing and murdering ponies, but I decided to make the whole family a bunch of killers, not just Applejack. But Applejack is the main character, the main torturer, the main everything. She is basically ruthless. And where I got her torture factors from, if you've ever seen a show called The Devil's Rejects, that was directed by Rob Zombie, and it's probably one of the best horror films that I've actually ever seen, because it goes beyond the limit of horror. That is where I got Applejack's, that's where I got her torture tactics from. There's a group, because The Devil Rejects is about a group of 3 serial killers that kill beyond the devil's own doing. That is basically where I got it from. There's a girl in the group, and I can't remember her name at the moment, but it's Rob Zombie's wife. That's what I know. But she's not an actual killer. No. But in the movie, she is like this psychomaniac. I mean, she actually forces her victims to kiss her and call her, beautiful and all that stuff. And she does worse if you do not listen to her. That's where I got Applejack's motives from. So, a horror movie for a horror fic. Now, I wanted to test the limits of my horror to see if I'm actually destined to be a horror author. So, I wrote a horror fic, and immediately after chapter 1 was published, 2 likes, 3 dislikes. Which I don't give a crap about haters. I really don't. They can kiss my flank. I don't care. I look at the haters as dumb, ignorant, and read the description. If you read the description, you can avoid this. Why is there a dislike option? I realize people have their own opinion, but seriously, if you don't like these kind of things, then why the heck are you reading it? Seriously. It's so dumb. Anyways, when I started writing this, I was debating on, there's a part in chapter 2 that I was really debating on writing because it was going beyond anything that I had ever written before. And chapter 1 alone is very graphic because we've got bones breaking, we've got drowning a pony, we've got all sorts of stuff that is very brutal, I should say. Very brutal. Applejack is literally beating the living crap out of this guy. Pony. Beating the crap out of this pony, and he's just begging for mercy. But he thinks he's just going to go through the grinder, but no. They have many more plans for this pony, especially Applejack. Which, right there, that should have hinted what's going to happen in chapter 2. And it was beyond anything that I'd ever written. Even my parents disagreed, but you know what, it's just a story. So, there's not going to be anything unless you're a hater. So, which, I don't care. Haters can just kiss my butt. I don't care. So, here is where things get more gruesome. Bittersweet Apple Acres took a very deadly turn, especially in chapter 2. But I was actually never intending to write something like that. And the reasoning was to add more of the horror factor to it, which I think I jumped beyond the horror factor. I seriously do. I mean, I was very close. I mean, the comments that came out of that were, whoa. Every time, whoa. I mean, these people were like, what in the world? Plus, we've got the next chapter, where Applejack is trying to feed this guy breakfast, and she's playing the nice game. But before she actually rapes him, that's right, there's rape in this, so if you are going to read it, beware. It is very gruesome. It's very descriptive. So, what she does is she tries to get him to wake up, and he doesn't, want to wake up because he's weak. This guy is weaker than heck. I mean, he is death worn over. So, examples of what she does to him: punching him in the face, branding his flanks. And if you don't know what a brand is, if you've ever seen a cow that has, or a horse that has like a mark on its flank, that's a hi Luna. That is a brand. It is caused by a blazing hot metal being pushed against the flesh. It's not enough to break through the flesh, but enough to just leave a nasty mark. So he's immediately marked. And another type of torture that goes on: cutting if he actually gags on his food, and yeah, there is just all sorts of factors of horror in this. But the reason I wrote Bittersweet Apple Acres is because I wanted to test my horror factor. I swear I am not a psychomaniac that's going to come to you at night and do things. I swear. I pinky promise. Cross my heart and hope to fly. Stick a cupcake in my eye. I swear to you that I am not a psychomaniac. It's just an idea that came out of my mind when I saw that part in the season 5 finale. Calm down. It's just like Smile HD and Cupcakes. Those came out of the idea of probably a pretty nice guy, or he's got some serious problems. But I swear to you, I am a nice guy. You guys have seen my reactions, how I react. I am not one of those people that is gonna literally do these things. I just have a very scary mind. That is how I got the nickname Stephen King Jr. And if you've ever read a Stephen King novel, you'll know what I'm talking about. Stephen King is my idol, and I love his writing style. That's why I wrote this, because it is basically to test my horror factor and to piss haters off, of course. That's always fun. But I just wanted to give you guys a good explanation. This is not to, freak you out or give you nightmares. That's why I put a warning. I am nice. I put a warning. Unlike Mr. Cupcakes and Smile and Rainbow Factory. Well, Rainbow Factory actually, Aurora Dawn, she actually put a warning. So, yeah. But Cupcakes and Smile, yeah, there's no warning. So, I was nice to you to put a warning. But the reason people are disliking it is just because Applejack is signified at, or her reputation is the element of honesty, and she has never done anything, bad. She broke a pinky promise, but of course, you're gonna have it. But she's never done anything, gruesome. I also decided to do it based off of Applejack because there is no creepypastas on Applejack. Only Big Mac. Yes, I know about Sweet Apple Massacre. Please stop trying to get me to read it. And let me warn you, let me alert you, I am not a fan of the dark stuff. I am not. Okay, Rainbow Factory, not that bad. It's really not that bad. That was very mild compared to Cupcakes. I mean, you guys have already heard my reactions to Cupcakes, so I'm not even going to go into that. If you're interested in hearing how I reacted, check out Rainbow Factory audiobook reaction. That is pretty much the easy way of describing it. But the reason I wrote Sweet Apple Acres was to test my horror limits, and I think I succeeded. So, and for haters out there who don't like what I wrote, screw you. Calm down. It's just a story. Calm your butts down. Sheesh. But I do plan on writing more darkfics. I don't know if it'll be a My Little Pony one, but I don't know. We'll see. I think there will be a sequel to Bittersweet Apple Acres, kind of like a prequel. Like the story of how Applejack actually came, like how the Apple family actually came to be mass killers. What happened? Even though that is explained in chapter 3. But I'm thinking about writing a sequel, so people will calm their butts down. I mean, seriously. If you don't like it, don't read it. Anyways, guys, that is all for now, and until next time, take care, and Spare964 out for now. Hopefully this explanation helped you. Bye-bye.